Hello. Can you believe it's day 3? Today is hump day, as we call it. And we are continuing our conversation with the woman behind the leader, looking at Esther. Esther is one of the favorites of leadership and women and being called and appointed. And today's topic is really around trusted voices and discernment. Who do we trust? And so that's where we're going. And so let's dive in. Today, I want to talk to the woman who doesn't trust easily. And I say that because for many of us, me included, sometimes we've had experiences in the past that prevent us from trusting people in the present. I'm going to pause there. Our experiences in the past, negative experiences in the past, prevent us from trusting people in the present. And it's not because we're closed off, but because we've learned to be very careful with what we share, how we share it, who we collaborate with. And can I be honest? Part of my lack of trust has created an independence and self sufficiency that sometimes is to a fault. Where when you have gifts and abilities and credentials, we learn to navigate on our own. And I say to a fault because the reality is there really is no I in team. And if we're really going to move the marker and move ahead, we've got to be able to do it with people, and trust has to be part of that foundation. So when we look at leadership, leadership becomes heavier when you feel like you have to figure out everything on your own. It's like you're carrying this load that is almost too difficult to bear. And we women, because we are often given responsibilities at home and responsibilities in the church, and we're able to multitask, right? We think carrying this load is what we're called and created to do. But the truth is, we're all created to be in community. And we all should have someone we trust, someone we can lean on, someone who speaks into our life so that together we can move the marker forward. And so let's look at it with Esther, because Esther did not do this alone. She had help when she did it. She didn't walk the journey alone. She didn't make her decisions alone. And so Mordecai wasn't just her cousin, he was her guardian, he was her guide, he was her trusted voice. He was the one who raised her. And even though I'm sure, like all of us, she may not have agreed with everything, he was there for her. And even when Esther was elevated, she listened to him. It didn't mean she didn't push back, it didn't mean she didn't question, but she listened to him. She didn't confuse position with independence. Oh, now that alone will preach. She did not confuse her position with independence. And remember when I said sometimes we're independent to a fault, we're self sufficient to a fault because we have been wounded or hurt or betrayed, and we have made vows that said, I'll do this on my own. I'll figure it out on my own. And I want to say to you, the woman behind that leader who is carrying everything, you do not have to do this alone. You don't have to carry the burden. That humility was part of Esther's strength, and it's part of your strength. The humility to allow people to step in with you, to support you, and again, not allow the people of your past who betrayed you and disappointed you to now prevent you from collaborating and trusting who God has placed in your life now. One of the most dangerous lies women in leadership believe is I should be able to handle all this on my own. Healthy leadership includes discernment about who gets access to your decision making. You get to choose who gets access to your decision making, but you don't have to do this alone, and no one expects you to do it all alone. All alone, excuse me. Esther shows us that wisdom often comes through trusted voices, not isolation. If it were left up to Esther in the palace, yesterday we talked about imposter syndrome. And if Esther had stayed in a place where she had stayed hidden and didn't have Mordecai to challenge her, to call her up, who knows what would have happened to the Jews? So it doesn't happen in isolation. It really does happen when we have trusted voices of people in our life who we know are looking out for our good. They're fighting for our highest good. They believe in us. And even though sometimes we're in these hard places like she was, it was difficult. Like her life was on the line. This wasn't just a promotion. This wasn't just a pay increase. This wasn't buying a new house or moving into a new neighborhood or making new friends. No, if she went before the king without being summoned and he didn't accept her, she would have died. And some of us are in life and death positions where the decision we make really is we could die emotionally, mentally, spiritually. So I want to go into the coaching part. And I want to ask you, who do you trust enough to tell you the truth and not just affirm you? Who do you trust that will call you up and not just pat you on the back? Who do you trust who you know believes in you but also challenges you with truth and love? That's what we need in our life. Someone we can trust, the Ruth and the Naomi, the Mary and the Elizabeth, right? When we begin to think about who do we trust? Like, who is the colleague on your job? Who is your mentor? Who is a spiritual advisor? Who is a spiritual director? Like, who in your life do you trust? Or is it just you and the Lord? I'm gonna stop because I want us to think about it because that's how we think. It's just me and Jesus. But even Jesus had the disciples, even Jesus obeyed the Father. Who are we listening to and who do we trust? So, how do we claim authority over this and how do we change? Because y'all know I'm all about change. I'm all about coaching you into transformation and making a change in your life. So, I want you to pause wherever you are. Now, if you're driving, don't pause, keep driving. But when you stop, I want you to list the people whose voices most affect your confidence and your decisions. Who are the people? And typically, they're the 5 people you talk to all the time that are influencing your life, right? If you're strategic, you have people in your workspace and in your spiritual life or in your home life. And sometimes they can be the same person, but they're the ones advising you and guiding you. Now, next, after you list these 5 people, next to each name, note whether they strengthen courage, increase fear, keep you stuck, or help you discern. Do they strengthen courage, increase fear? I want you to see it. Do they keep you stuck or do they help you discern? Like, what are the roles that they're playing and how you lead and how you live your life, how you love others? How do you walk out your faith? How are these people and their voices affecting the decisions you make about your life today or tomorrow? Now, here's step 2. We've made the list. You've made a note next to them. Choose one intentional shift you will make this week. One intentional shift. Now, Esther had to make a decision. When Mordecai was fasting, he was laid in sackcloth and ashes. He sent word to Esther. Esther sent back and explained her fear. But then she had to make one intentional decision. What was she going to do? And she chose to go on a 3-day fast so she could then hear from the Lord about what she should do next. I want you to make one intentional decision about what you're going to do this week. And here's how I want you to phrase it. This week, I will give greater weight to blank and less weight to blank. So I'm going to give greater weight to leaning into those who are around me and allowing them to collaborate with me, and less weight to my independence and self-sufficiency and trying to do everything on my own. I really want to allow the people that God has placed in my life to speak into my life, to collaborate with me, to pray with me, to share with them my journey. It may be just you choosing someone to say, hey, I'm making some changes in 2026, and I'd love to just have coffee and talk to you about what I've got going on, and less of the weight of you carrying it on your own and being superwoman, right? So choose one intentional thing you're going to do this week so that it looks different, feels different. And then I want you to anchor this decision by saying these words. I am responsible for whose voice I elevate. I get to choose, right? I am responsible for whose voice I elevate in my life. So I can choose to quiet a voice if they are creating fear in me, if they are helping me stay stuck, if they are not helping me move forward. It doesn't mean they're out of my life. It's just I get to choose what that looks like in my life. Okay. And I'll say to you, don't allow the people who failed you in the past to prevent you from trusting the people in your present or your future. Don't give the people of your past that power, that experience, that power, so that you now are paralyzed. No, let's break free from paralysis. And let's say the people who are in your life now deserve to be trusted. Let's pray. God, I thank you for the women who you have called to lead, like Esther, women who have called to transform organizations, homes, communities. And I pray for the women who are carrying too much, who are feeling the weight of it, who feel responsible, who have even been taught that they should carry it all. I pray that you would bring safe, wise voices into her life, into their life. Help her discern who to listen to and who to release, who has been called to call her up, to challenge her with grace and truth, and who maybe just a friend to stand and hang out with. I pray that you would give her wisdom and discernment and bless her life abundantly. I hope you are enjoying this journey with me, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Stay close. We're building something here.